Welcome to the program. I'm Mark Imperial. I'm doing a series of spotlights on remarkable experts from across the country and even in your town. Joining me on this segment is George Platt. He's the VP of Sales and Marketing for GHP Media Inc. George, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Mark. Great to be here. Thank you.
George, tell us a little bit about GHP Media and specifically who are the types of clients or folks that you help?
Okay, just a broad brush here. GHP Media is in West Haven, Connecticut. We have 140 people over 3 shifts of production, and we're in the printing and direct mail business. And GHP covers, like, we have 12 different avatars, running from financial services all the way to nonprofits. I tend to work with more manufacturers, information marketers, and people in private practice. So I basically use printing and direct mail to grow people's businesses.
Fantastic. And we all know the power of direct mail and how that's still the number one unbeatable marketing channel, if you will. But
Yes.
it sounds like having so many avatars and working specifically with like manufacturers and information marketers, it sounds like they have maybe a couple of different specific biggest challenges. What were those challenges be? Like, what are the types of things that you help them overcome?
Well, the challenges is one of the biggest things is that their customer list is the biggest asset they have, and they don't realize that they have it right under their nose. So many people aren't doing anything with their customer or prospect list, and it's really it's a crime. So I help people, and I'm not in the business. Most businesses getting in the trap of having to be expert in doing their business. But when you get to running marketing for a company or leading a company, you have to be in the marketing business. So you're just a marketer of what you do, not the doer of what you do. So I work very closely with people to help them, get their business growing again.
Yeah, a lot of people do have a challenge getting that, mindset straight that you are the marketer of what it is rather than the person that's chopping the carrots or doing whatever they do
Right,
inside of the
exactly.
business.
Exactly.
So speaking of that, that's like a misconception a lot of people hold. Are there any other big like myths or misconceptions that have kept people from taking advantage of that database they have or
Oh,
having
sure.
success in general?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people think direct mail is dead, because with the big push toward digital spending. I had a lot of nonprofits, and we do a lot of work with colleges and universities. And when digital got strong, they abandoned their annual reports. They stopped printing them. They just put them online. It was a PDF online, or they put something on their website. Well, people want to see their name in print. They want to flip the page and find their name. So they found a lot of people that went digital only and abandoned print and direct mail, found that their business went way down. And a
I
lot of
would
big retailers did the same thing, and they had to cry. Even the public companies had to go back 3 months later and said, I made a huge mistake. I abandoned. We stopped printing our catalog, and it really hurt our business.
maybe it's not very intuitive, and maybe it sounds counterintuitive, but if you think about it, they're just jumping into a super overcrowded space now with digital
Right,
being free rather than the mailbox, which was relatively crowded. And if you think
right.
about it now, the mailbox is relatively empty.
It is, and that's the beauty. That's the beauty of doing direct mail now. Is and people, 70% of everybody goes to the mailbox and gets their mail, and 70% of the people, 68% of the people are opening it, so people react to it. So it's still very powerful, more than ever.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. Have you seen people besides like just jumping into digital and ignoring direct mail altogether? Have you seen any other big mistakes that these manufacturers or these information marketers are making that keep them from getting success?
Oh, they don't, actually people chop. Like we take this perfect example of the COVID. People they stop marketing. The biggest thing is they stop spending money when they should be the other way around.
Makes
And,
a lot
and
of
another
sense.
another mistake they make is they say, "Oh, okay, I'm a direct mail expert." They say, "Well, what's a legitimate percentage of response?" Well, the response rate has something to do with it, but it's the wrong approach. It's what is the lifetime value of your client. So I have lifetime value of clients that have spent $20 million with me over my career. What would I take out of my wallet to buy one of those clients if I could? So they have to look at their marketing spend, and the direct mail spend is that what is an elegant way to to buy clients. And you and I share a mentor in Dan Kennedy who would say, if you could be the one that spends the most, if you can afford to spend the most to buy a client, you're going to win.
That's a great reminder that, response or open rate, it's merely an indicator, but it's not necessarily the metric to look at when you mention that total value of the
Yeah,
customer.
it's what's the lifetime value? Do the math. Take a look at your biggest clients. What do they spend a year, and how long do they spend with you? And then what would you spend to get one? I mean,
Yeah,
if
you
you
see a
look at it
lot of
that way, you know,
you see a
it
lot of
turns it
crowded
from the
markets that do really terrific with the tiniest of response, but it is the way it is depending on the crowd of the market and their business. They know the metric, they know the value of the customer, and they know how much they can spend to acquire one.
right. And when you flip it, you make marketing and advertising spend. It becomes not an expense but an investment. You have to look at it as an investment.
That absolutely, that's a great word,
All
George.
right.
And
And
it's an
then
investment.
also, if you look at if the marketing is paying your way, and other thing, people say, okay, we're going to spend a budget. I'm going to spend, 5% of my sales on marketing. Well, if a media will pay its way, you don't throw the budget out the window. As long as it's self-sustaining, spend all the money you can.
That's like finding that perfect message that if you put a quarter in a slot machine in Vegas and it returns $1, I'm going to stop. I'm going to only spend that one quarter. No, you're going to find a pile of quarters and put as many in there as you can, right? If you really want to scale and you have the capacity, of course. Hey, George, so to get to all this knowledge, like what inspired you to get into, direct mail and marketing in general? How did you get started?
Well, I'm about, it sounds religious, but I'm about my father's business. So my father started in the printing business in 1955. He ended up buying a printer in 1972. I went to college, got a degree in printing management, and went to work in the company in 1976. And my father passed away early in 82, and I was running it ever since. So, and I'm a big believer that money should move. It shouldn't stay in one place. So I'm a 20% giver. I'm a double tither. So, between church and charitable organizations, I keep the money moving. And the more I keep the money moving, the more it finds its way to me. But when I had to grow my business, my father had it to like 700,000 in sales. And my two brothers are also working in the family business with me. And, we needed room to grow. So I became a student of marketing and direct mail. So I've spent, probably between $100,000 and $200,000 in my career just educating myself. This is on top of college, just and when you get into business and you have the competitive, fire in you, you want to compete and you want to win. And that's what I do. And I help people also compete and win.
Just like Dan Kennedy's always told us, school's never out for the pro or for the best of the best.
Exactly.
So, George, for folks listening now that definitely we've opened their eyes and they realize, hey, maybe I should be communicating with my database. Maybe I can send it some direct mail. Maybe I do need some top of mind awareness because let's face it, out of sight, out of mind. Even if you're just sending some, hey, we're here. How do folks find you, connect with you, and learn more?
Yeah, my email is george.platt, and that's Platt, at ghpmedia.com. And my direct phone line is 203-479-7560. And if you email me your snail mail address, your name and address, also I'd like to have an email address, which I'll have, and your phone number, and I have a book for you. And this book I wrote, it's a very quick read, 57 pages plus cover. And the title is 10 Big Secrets for Growing Your Business in the New Economy. If you send me an email requesting the book, I'll send it out free of charge. And really, the book just highlights all the marketing methods that have given me huge returns over the years. So this is $100,000 of investment and 45 years of testing is in this book. So send me an email, I'll send it to you.
Oh, that is absolutely terrific and gold. George, this has been refreshing, and I really appreciate this conversation, and I appreciate you taking the time and sharing your insights with my audience. Great. I wish you continued success for you and for all of your clients.
All right. Thank you so much, Mark. I appreciate being with you. Thank you.
That was George Platt. He's the VP of Sales and Marketing at GHP Media, Inc., and that's all for now. I'm Mark Imperial, and thanks for tuning in.